welcome to Food Rebels. This is the podcast that brings you brand, chef and live on-air tastings, a show that's dedicated to the more rebellious side of the food world, where we celebrate the people who have challenged the status quo. You know me, I'm the show host, AJ Sharp, taste expert, food writer, great taste judge, business owner, la la la. And with me today, we have producer Georgie Parsons.
Hi.
Welcome, Georgie.
Hi. I'm here again.
You're here again. A big thank you to everyone who's filled out our survey. If you haven't done so yet, please head over to foodrebels.co.uk and click on the survey, because you can win a hamper full of goodies from all our guests on the show. So really, really beautiful. It's getting bigger and bigger every time we have guests on the show.
I know. And we would really just love you to fill it out so we can get a little bit more insight into who you are and what you think and everything. So please do head to the website. And
Even if you're listening via the radio.
Yeah.
So who have we got on the show today?
So today we've got Patrick Woods from Linwoods Health Foods.
Welcome, Patrick.
Hi, I'm delighted to be here.
It's really nice to have you here. So you are the third generation to run Linwoods Health Foods.
Yeah.
And it's a massive company, isn't it?
Well, we're an SME. So my grandfather started the business probably in the 1930s.
Wow.
Where they lived on a small farm, maybe 7 acres, and he started to collect the eggs around the local farms, because all the farms around in Northern Ireland were quite small subsistence. So you had 4 or 5 cows, some pigs, a few sheep, 200 chickens, and you grew your own potatoes and some veg and a few fruit trees. So he started to collect the eggs and wholesale them to the egg packer and put a little van on the road. And then things developed. He started to sell them the chicken meal and some oil for their lamps and their tractors or whatever. And that developed. Then he bought a small site and built a shop, a small grocery store on the side of a road and a hardware store. And that shop has been kind of the constant throughout the whole business. But unfortunately, he died when he was quite young at 43. He fell off, it was a horse and cart, and banged his head on his collecting the eggs.
Yeah.
And then subsequently he went in for a routine operation a number of months later and must have had a blood clot or whatever and passed away during the operation. So he left a family of 10 behind him. My dad was number 4.
10 children.
10 children from 17 down to 2-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
So your grandmother
my grandmother had her hands full.
Yeah.
And I suppose my grandfather ran the business, so she had very little kind of knowledge or input into it and was quite lost.
Sounds like she was quite busy already.
Yes, raising the family and trying to keep on top of it. I mean,
we think we've got it hard with 2 kids and a full-time job.
Yeah, 2's enough for me as well. I'll be stopping there. But so his oldest sister, Genevieve, she took on the running of the business, and thankfully his brother, Pat, was a really steady...
After him you're named?
Probably.
Okay, cool.
He was a very steadying influence on the 10 kids, and certainly my dad would still reference his Uncle Pat a lot in terms of the guidance and the advice that he gave. So he was able to kind of steer the family through that transition into the next generation. Genevieve, as I said, took on the running at 17.
Wow.
And as dad was 10 years of age.
So that's your father's sister?
Yes, his oldest sister. And then as things developed, Dad left school at 14 because he's dyslexic. So he hated school, but he felt he was treated with respect.
Yeah,
at the
when
shop.
he was working,
Yes, treated as a little man, as he talked
Probably
about.
really bright, really capable. Yeah. Dyslexia didn't actually matter.
He just couldn't read very well. So he was straight into the shop and learned all he could. And I suppose he talks about he always had this feeling that he was destined to take it on for some reason. And at 20 then he took on the running of the shop, and he ran the business for 60 full years until he handed over to me 2 years ago. So he's 82 now.
Wow.
Still very much involved in the business. But if I go back, so the business went through lots of different iterations. He started international transport for a number of years. He imported turf from the Republic of Ireland into Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
He built hay sheds, mushroom houses. He picked mushrooms, lots of different things, but really Linwoods as it...
But all very much fresh. It sounds like fresh fruit and vegetables and fresh eggs.
And then Linwoods, probably in its current iteration, really started around the early 80s when he started to import fresh bread from the Republic of Ireland into Northern Ireland. So because I'm sure you're aware of the religious issues we have had over in Northern Ireland. So we were all very religious and nobody worked on a Sunday. So there was no fresh bread baked until Monday. And you got the fresh bread on a Tuesday. And he was able to bring bread up on a Sunday and deliver it freshly on Monday morning.
Wow.
So he built a wholesale business, and then he done the same with fresh dairy products. So he done the same with bread and milk, and built up a business of probably 50 vehicles at its peak, delivering bread and milk.
So the original Milk and More sort of idea.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that was from the early 80s right through until 2016, 2017. In that stage, we had 250 people employed. We had built a bakery. We'd built a dairy to produce our own fresh bakery goods and dairy products. But as after the Troubles finished, then the supermarkets and the big players started to come into into the NI market. Before that, it was all corner shops, convenience stores, the local. That was our kind of bread and butter as such. And so the margins started to get tighter and tighter and tighter in that business. And eventually we exited bakery and dairy in 2017, 2018.
Wow. So you sold the bakery.
we divested out of it, I suppose. Sold would be a very generous word for it.
Okay.
We just essentially stopped and sold what we could. Because we were in a very fortunate position that we had a strong health food business and division there alongside that. So if I take you back to 1994, so the family of 10 siblings, 8 of them had heart bypass operations and heart trouble.
Oh my goodness.
So he had a heart bypass in 1994 in his early 50s and was told, like, you need to start looking after yourself, John, or you're going to be back here in 5 years looking another one. So he took that very literally and really transformed his lifestyle. He walks and still walks every day. His diet is made up of he sees food as fuel.
Yeah.
So he eats what he needs, not what he wants.
Proper nourishment.
Yes, correct. And stopped smoking, stopped drinking Lucozade, getting proper rest and working 100-hour weeks. All of that stopped. And as that journey progressed, he discovered the benefits of milled flaxseed, and that led to then launching, well, I suppose trialling. Can we sell? Is there an appetite for this product in local pharmacies and chemist stores around?
Yeah, as a health product.
As a health product, and the reaction was good. And then we moved into health food stores, and then Holland and Barrett came on board. Was probably our first big break in the UK. And then as things progressed and it became more popular, then it moved into the supermarket. So yeah, that was the genesis of the health food business. So that progressed from around 2003.
So what is it about flax seeds that were so important for him?
Yeah, so a lot of flaxseed up to that point was consumed whole.
Okay.
And when you consume whole flaxseed, you get the benefit of fibre. It goes straight through the body. It provides fibre and roughage in the digestive tract. But what you don't get if you mill it, you get much more of the nutrients that are inside it.
Okay.
The omega-3 primarily, any protein, any minerals, vitamins, you get the benefit of absorbing them. So that's why it's so critical that it's milled.
Wow.
And so how did he start working out that was the way to eat it rather than eating it whole?
It's a good question. I suppose he was out at a show in Brussels, I believe, trying to sell frozen Irish wheaten bread from our bakery. And as he was strolling through the show, he tasted some, because he stops at every stand at a show, so it takes him about 3 days to do any trade show. He stopped and he tasted this product, and he turned on him, went back and says, "What is this?" And the guy was from Canada, and he said, "Oh, this is Canadian linseed." And have been tasked with the Flax Council of Canada to launch milled flaxseed and linseed into Europe. He says, "Oh, I've tasted that before." And the guy says, "No, impossible. You couldn't have, because I'm the first person to bring it into Europe." He says, "Oh, no, is flaxseed and linseed the same thing?" And he said, "Yeah, 2 names for the same product."
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, "Not generally linseed is for animal feed, or
right. Okay.
They're interchangeable." But he says during the war, which is the Second World War, when there was shortage of feedstuffs, they brought in milled flaxseed from Canada for animal feed.
Oh, I see.
And there was a farmhand used to work on the farm after obviously my grandfather had passed away, and he was, I suppose, a bit sheltered and a bit backward. So other than go into the house with the 10 kids, he went out to the meal house and he would suck 5 or 6 eggs, and he would take a handful of this linseed and eat it. And of course, as
Wait, one
kids,
sec. He'd eat the eggs raw.
raw, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't, it's probably an acquired taste. I haven't tried it now, but
So raw egg
yeah.
and linseed.
That was his sustenance for the day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was so backward he wouldn't go into the house to talk to
cook
my
it.
grandmother or
Oh, my
anything
goodness.
else.
That's amazing.
So, but as kids, they copied this. So they would have sucked the eggs and eaten the linseed. And whenever Dad tasted it in this show in Brussels, immediately it came back to him.
Oh, I see. That he'd had actually
That he
eaten
had
that
tried it before, and he always remembers his mum saying after the war, "Oh, those cows have never looked as healthy as they did when they ate
Yeah.
the linseed." So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so the guy from Canada said, "No, you haven't.
Yes.
It's not here." And your father said, "Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It is here."
Yeah.
And then he went back and said, "Right, I'm going to grow more of this."
well, yes, import more, and, and
Import.
Can we not grow it in the UK?
we can, but we don't have the climate to A, grow it consistently, or
Okay.
B, the longer hours of sunshine and daylight.
So it
And
needs
you
heat.
need a drier, more arid climate to get the omega-3 content
Oh,
up.
I see.
Okay.
So we do grow some flaxseed here, but I suppose the consistency of good harvest and maybe 2 bad ones is difficult to rely
Yeah.
on.
So do you still import it from Canada?
We import it now from mostly Eastern Europe,
Okay.
Kazakhstan, Poland, Ukraine. Russia was quite a big growing region until the war broke out, so we don't source anything through Russia anymore. But yeah, we buy it from Europe because of the organic regulations in Europe are a lot tighter than the US and Canada.
Yeah.
So their limit of pesticide is not as tight as ours. So we
Oh, interesting.
we were struggling to get product that was meeting European regulations.
Standards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to switch, and
So you started with organic straight away.
Yeah.
That was a kind of It had to be organic.
Yeah.
And that's continued now. Are all your products?
our products are organic where possible.
Okay.
So any product that we can import or source organically, we do. The exceptions to that is if we're adding some vitamins or minerals for functionality.
Right.
You can't have organic, or it's
So
very
then you have
difficult.
to then take off the organic label.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's an additive.
Interesting.
In a lot of cases, we would still use organic ingredients in
Yeah.
those products, but you can't say they're organic.
Organic.
Oh, really?
So, Dad's very much a big advocate that organic is the
It's
way
the
to
way
go.
forward. Yeah.
So he discovered the linseed, or flaxseed, and knew about all of these incredible benefits.
Yeah.
And that's where this whole product range has come from?
Yeah, he just started from
Wow.
a bag of milled flaxseed, giving it out to pharmacies, and the feedback was good. And then it kind of grew legs from there. And in 2005, then we rented a unit in an industrial park and bought a little mill to mill it, and it's
The rest is
developed.
history,
Yeah, well, I
almost.
was employee number 2 in that factory. There was a
Wow.
manager and then me out of school.
So you were getting it milled, and then you've started milling it yourself.
Yes,
Is that because it's
we were
fresher?
buying it in packs,
Yeah.
and just with our label stuck on, and
Yeah.
then we started to buy the equipment to do it ourselves and pack it ourselves.
And it's cold milled, is that
Correct.
right? Is that,
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference.
Yeah, the cold milling's important because the heat can damage the omega-3.
Okay.
Ah,
So,
yeah. So you have
cold
to do it really
milling's-
slowly, don't you?
Well, you just need it's a certain type of mill that allows us to mill it at a lower temperature, below 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So as not to impact the omega-3 content.
Interesting. Amazing.
That's so interesting. It's like liquid sunshine, isn't it? Omega-3, they say.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
And how do you eat it? As in, like, how would you?
So it's really flexible and adaptable.
Yeah.
Most of our customers consume it at breakfast. I would say probably adding it to porridge is probably the number one occasion, but you can add it to cereal, granola, you can add it into yogurt. Some people add it to smoothies.
Yeah.
I know one of the guys at work, he just tips a bit into a glass of orange juice, mixes it up and necks it. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
that's his breakfast.
Love it.
Give that one a go.
But there's also, you can use it on salads, use it in
Yeah.
kind of baking and cooking as well. But
Is it
most of it's
crunchy?
breakfast.
Or is
There-
it sort of...
There's a little bit of a crunch off it, but it's quite finely ground to allow you to get the benefits. So
Nice. So it's almost like a powdery type
it's
thing.
more powdery than crunchy, yeah. And there's quite a neutral, nutty flavour of it, so it goes quite well in most foods.
That's really cool. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Georgie's just showing it
That's
to
it.
me.
Yeah. So this is your
Menaligna. how you say
Nanoligna,
it?
yeah. So
Menaligna.
we have developed. Flaxseed contains lots of different nutrients, and one of the compounds within it is a thing called lignans, and lignans are a phytoestrogen, so they're actually quite good. Have beneficial effects for women going through menopause.
right.
So we have developed a product, Menoligna, which you're looking at, which has added lignans to it, as well as the inherent benefits within the flaxseed to help with the symptoms of menopause. And then we've added additional vitamins and minerals there to add further functionality.
So it's the regulation of hormone activity. That's useful.
Gosh, that's really interesting.
Even before you've started, it's probably quite useful.
Yeah, perimenopause, yeah.
High in calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin B.
Isn't that funny? You know, I never really think of other things having calcium in them apart from dairy products. But
Yeah, well, we've added, that's like a marine source calcium,
Yeah.
but we've added it because obviously there's a lot of
osteoporosis
women,
and stuff. Yeah.
lose a lot of bone density post-menopause, so
That's amazing.
we're supporting them both through menopause with the hormone imbalance, but also then with their bone health going forward with the vitamin D, K2 and calcium.
Yeah,
Gosh, that
amazing.
sounds like a real super product.
It's generally going to make you feel better, isn't it?
Certainly is.
What's this lovely smelling thing in front of me?
So after the flax seeds, you've launched other products, and now you're into cereal alternatives, breakfast items.
Yeah, so over the last, 18, 20 years, we've developed quite a range of milled seeds. A lot of our products are based on flaxseed, chia seed or hemp. And as I mentioned earlier, most of our products are consumed at breakfast. So when I come in as MD of the business, our milled seeds kind of sit somewhere between, they're not quite a supplement and they're not a food. You have to add them to food.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try and diversify more into food, but also into food supplements. And breakfast was the obvious place to start for us because our products are consumed at breakfast. People know us at breakfast, but it's also the occasion where people are most health conscious during the day. So you think of
You start off right.
your motivation on a Monday morning is strong. Your motivation on a Friday afternoon, maybe not so much.
Yeah, fair.
So breakfast was the obvious occasion, but we didn't want to just do another breakfast product, another granola or another muesli. We want to have a point of difference and something that's unique. And I was making overnight oats, and some of the other people in work, one of the girls in NPD Honour was doing the same. And
It's been quite a big trend, hasn't it? The overnight oats with all the different flavours and the layers and everything. Yeah.
It's quite trendy, and whenever you start this kind of underground trend, but it hadn't hit the mainstream yet as such, and it certainly hadn't hit the grocery shelves.
Yeah.
So I said there has to be an easier way than dirtying 6 dishes and buying all the ingredients and making up 3 days in a row and a whole 15-minute hassle of making overnight oats. And I forget, then I was just having a bowl of Cheerios the next morning or something, which is not what I want. So I decided there has to be a better way. So what we have made is a range of 3 overnight oat products with added protein, added functionality with energy, vitamins added. We've added our chia seed, we've added flavour, along with your oats, and really all you have to do is add milk of your choice and mix it up.
This actually doesn't have flaxseed in it. So could you then put flaxseed in this?
You could add further flaxseed, and I do add flaxseed.
You add it as well, yeah.
But we went for chia seed. I suppose it's maybe more aesthetically pleasing in the mix.
But it's got different benefits, hasn't it? Chia seed. It's supposed to be really good for like keeping you fuller longer and things
it's
like
good
that.
satiety benefits. Chia and flax probably nutritionally are reasonably similar. They're both high in omega-3, they're both high in fibre, they both have a mucilage type soluble fibre as well. So they're quite similar nutritionally, but we decided a lot of our products were flax focused. So we decided to diversify and add some chia into this range of products instead. So
really nice.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier at breakfast time. I just add my milk the night before, put it in the fridge, and it's ready to eat in the morning.
Yeah, so my husband eats a lot of oats. He loves oats. And sometimes he remembers to do it the night before and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
And just makes it anyway. What is the fundamental difference? Is it just it's softer if it's been left overnight, or does it actually sprout or change form, or is there something that happens?
There may be some, I suppose, enzymatic things happening in the oats overnight, but speaking from personal experience, it's easier for me. I like the overnight oats rather than porridge, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
And also I like to eat my breakfast at 10:30 in the office. And I don't want to start making porridge in the office canteen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whereas if I have my overnight oats made the night before, so it's purely from a convenience point of view from my perspective. Soaking them does obviously soften the oats, especially like Dad would soak his porridge oats the night before and then cook them the next morning. So
okay, interesting.
That would be probably common enough practice in Ireland, but there would be some germination process start, but
I just wondered if it made it more easier to digest or something, because sometimes I've had porridge that we've made that morning.
Yeah.
And I always wonder if it's not as easy to digest if it hasn't been soaked.
Yeah, well, I think the soaking, certainly from an overnight oats perspective, is important in place of cooking.
Yeah.
So it obviously softens them overnight, whereas you couldn't just make this product up and eat it straight away.
I see, yeah. So you don't actually have to cook this if you don't want to.
No, you just soak it overnight
Clever.
and eat it chilled.
Oh, you don't cook it at all?
No, you don't cook it at all.
You just have it cold, like we're eating
You
it
literally
now,
just do
which
it
is
like
lovely.
this, yeah. So you just pour the oats in, then pour some milk in, and that was it.
Delicious.
Just add milk and chill is the...
Just exactly.
yeah.
So there's a strawberry flavour. Energy, overnight oats. Why energy?
Yeah, so we done a lot of research into this, and we looked at kind of the functionalities and the benefits that people are seeking at breakfast, and energy is one of the top ones, and added protein. Again, from my perspective, I get lots of protein probably at lunchtime and lots of protein at dinner, but getting enough protein at breakfast is a challenge. So we've made a chocolate protein one as well. And we're actually working on another one.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
A second protein flavour, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah, the chocolate looks good, but it doesn't look overly chocolatey. It looks like you've just got some chocolate addition in with something that still looks really healthy and hearty. As
a health food company, that's something that is really important to us. And we had to work closely with Dad. He is very kind of strict, as I mentioned, with his diet, and is very much against adding unnecessary sugar. So we had to tread a fine line between getting it to taste right and good, but not making it too sweet. So, obviously, if it doesn't taste good, people won't buy it again. Yeah. So we have to add some flavour and some taste, but we kept the sugar and the sweetness to.
I think also that the range that you've got, the energy overnight oats doesn't have any sugar in it. So if you are not, if you don't like stuff too sugary, then you go for that one, and then you could add your fresh berries or your banana topping or whatever it is. But then if you are slightly more sugary aligned, then you could go for one of the other flavours. So it's quite nice that you've got the full range to. Yeah,
you have a bit of flexibility. With the chocolate and the strawberry, you could just add milk and it's ready to eat the next morning. Yeah. With the energy original, you can customise it yourself and add as much sweetness or as little sweetness as you want, as you say, with berries, banana, whatever. Yeah. Even some peanut butter or nuts or whatever. So.
And we had Manny Life on last week, actually.
Okay.
That sounds really amazing. Where can people buy these?
Yeah, so we launched them just in November of last year. So we're still building the distribution. They can buy them online at our website, linwoodshealthfoods.com. You can buy them on Amazon. In the London area, they're available in Whole Foods. They're available in Booths up in the north of the country and farm food stores nationwide. So we're in talks with quite a few of the other multiples, but we haven't
that's cool,
nothing to announce just yet. But
that's fine. So head to the website then for that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Or Amazon. I mean, who doesn't have Amazon?
Yeah. So now you've been in the hot seat for the last 2 years and you've taken over from this incredible heritage before you. What plans have you got up your sleeves that you can share with us? What's next for Linwoods Health Foods?
Yeah. My challenge taking over was that me and Dad were, he's an incredible guy, but we're very different. And I couldn't be him, Mark II. I had to be myself and do things my way. So a couple of things that I suppose changed to focus on or put more focus on was around sustainability. So yes, he recognized sustainability was important, but his focus and his mindset is very much product focused and health benefit and
which has worked so brilliantly up until now, but it's a slightly changing world, isn't it? And sustainability has to be at the core.
It's coming up the agenda. So I put more focus on our sustainability of the business. And I suppose the other one was around the team and the culture and the leadership style, where as he developed and built the business, I'm not saying all the decisions went through him, but he is a very strong part in quite a lot of them and led from the front. And I recognised quite quickly I can't be that person who has all the answers with everybody coming to me looking the answer. So my focus is more so I see myself as a facilitator of our team. Brilliant. And so the marketing team know more about marketing than I do. The innovation team know more about innovation. The sales people are better sales than I am. Production, quality, go through maintenance. They all know their jobs better than I know them. So I see my job is to put the right team in place and remove any obstacles that they may have and allow them to get on with their job.
Trusting them.
Yeah. And there's a lot of trust and with that trust, come, I suppose, to earn that trust both ways. Transparency is important.
Yeah.
And so again, all our financial information, everything would have been kept very, very on the QT. Whereas I'm happy to share our projections with the team.
Yeah. Set them
I'm happy
targets.
to share our plans, all of that, because if we can align, we need everybody aligned to be able, I can't drag everyone.
Yeah.
We need everyone aligned and go in the one direction, and they need to know where they're going in order to get there. So those are two things that probably changed, and that's not to denigrate the culture that was there previously. It was a really good culture. We have lots of people who worked for a very long time for us and continue to work for us. Thankfully, over half our team are there more than 10 years. So that speaks volumes about the culture and the business that Dad has built. And I suppose my challenge is to take something that's really good and make it even better.
Keep that loyalty and build on it and create a new stage, just like every business goes through.
But in terms of the future, where do I see it going? So as I mentioned earlier, from our milled seed, or core range as we talk about, we've moved into food was the first step, and the next step that we'll be doing over the coming number of probably months, over the next 18 months, is moving more into functional food supplements, quite like the Menaligna, but developing that range out further. So looking at the big conditions that are impacting people, whether it's heart disease, diabetes, there's obviously gut health,
huge one.
a huge issue for people, even hormonal health in younger women during menstrual cycle, Alzheimer's, all of those.
So you'll be able to buy one product that will be then helping you through all these different illnesses,
either multiple issues in one product or a specific product. I suppose.
That sounds great, because obviously it's sometimes you do have to actually buy all sorts of different things, and if you've got one rather than lots of different ones, it's makes things much easier. You're more likely to do it. I
suppose, and it's trying to bring these benefits to people through their diet. Than having to take medicine or pharmaceutical products. And I'm not against pharmaceuticals, but I think there's a role and a place for it, and there's a movement within the medical practice now around lifestyle medicine, and treating lifestyle illnesses like obesity, like diabetes, that are caused by our lifestyle.
Processed food movement.
With a change of lifestyle as opposed to here's a tablet and keep doing everything that you're doing. So I believe we can treat these lifestyle illnesses and conditions with nutrition and food, but obviously it's not just down to take our product and keep doing all of the same things you've been doing.
But it's a tool, isn't it? It's another tool of getting all that nutrition into your body and good fibre and all the rest of it. It's another tool, and it's, I guess, part of what you're doing is re-educating and teaching people the benefits of these different products. That's really incredible. Wow. Well, wishing you so much luck with it. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Sadly, we've come to the end of the show already, unbelievably, but thank you so much, Patrick. It's been so fab to have you on the show. Thanks for coming.
No problem. It's been great. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Georgie. How good has it been?
Who knew that linseed and flaxseed were the same thing?
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
And I didn't know I really need to be taking all of this stuff and eating this stuff. That's really, really fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You've been listening to Food Rebels, which is available on radio stations around the UK. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Audible. Please remember to subscribe and rate us with 5 stars. Thanks for joining. Make sure you taste the rebellion.